Masters Maniac Mexico.
Hello guys, and welcome again to my little channel of action figures and toys where the world and its values are still 100% in order. Well, as you can see, today we're talking again a little bit about Mexican bootleg in form of this still very mysteriously looking power pack of Star Wars. But before we take a look inside this pack, I have to tell you a little story about what it's inside and what it's here for. So let's get into it. Well, as I said, before we open and analyze this really nice power package of Mexican bootleg Star Wars figures, I have to tell you a little story. Because although this package comes in a complete and full presentation of Mexican bootleg, even with a printed label here in form of a digital designed mini Yoda, baby Yoda in his cradle. This is a pack that is still not in production. This is a so-called pre-production set, which means that a friend of mine, a pretty famous Mexican toy designer, has designed this set and has been offering this set to his producers. Well, one of the producers made a little set of production, which is only 50. These are existing right now as a test set, and they went out with it to the providers in order to look if they can sell more of it. Well, the orders till this moment have been under the estimations, so it probably never goes into production, and only these 50 bags of it are existing around. Although I don't understand, because as we will see, these figures are really nicely made. I guess it has to do with the appearance point. In this case, the designer and the producers let themselves a little bit too much of a time. So right now we are kind of in a hole if it comes to Mandalorian. The second round is through, and the third round will take a while before it comes to Netflix. We still will have to wait at least one more year, if not a little more. So the interest right now, after it was very high, has turned around to other things, like the upcoming Ghostbusters movie or the new Aliens and Predator movie that they are mourning and talking about. Well, this is the story about what is in the bag. Now the story what it is here for. It is here for a special reason. Well, usually I collect rarities and bootlegs and originals for myself. I like to go out hunting this kind of stuff, and I have plenty of Star Wars stuff in my collection as well, so I'm really in love with this bootleg. But, and this is the big but, and this is the story all about where it's going to and what it's here for. This power pack is not for my collection, and it's not for my collection because I love it, and I love it a lot. There's always somebody around in the world that may be able to appreciate the things a little more than you yourself. And this person that I'm talking about is a great collector's colleague of mine from the United States of America. I'm talking about David from Open by Chance YouTube channel. This guy has met the same experience in his life that I made. For circumstances, he lost his whole collection that he built up in many decades with a lot of dedication, and more than that, with a lot of knowledge, a profound knowledge about pop culture. And now again he's in for decades to rebuild it. A main part of his collection that he lost has been Star Wars. Of course, I'm not talking about Mexican bootleg. I'm talking about all the original stuff. And I mean, he had everything. He really had everything. And to reconsider this nowadays, it's close to impossible. Well, although his collection nowadays, thanks God, and thanks to his passion that he still has for collection, has been rebuilding in an immense and very impressive way. And his museum is a site where I really want to go to one time in my life. He still has not been able to reconsider too much of his Star Wars stuff. And knowing that I was able to drop a little bit his eye on the Mexican bootleg, what it is and what it can be, I brought this for him. I brought this for you, David. Yeah, and it's not only that. With this little package, there comes a decision here in the back, not clearly to see, and it's good that it's not clearly to see. There's a bunch of other Star Wars figures and Mexican bootlegs that I have in my collection, as I mentioned before. And as I will have a package for you and LPH anyway by the end of October, details will be talked about, I hope, in the live tomorrow. I have it all fixed up. I decided to dedicate what I have referring to Star Wars in my collection to you as well. So I will pick it up. I will not show it to you before because there's another very, very special figure with it that comes with a history that we will probably review tomorrow in our International Toy Bridge together, that I'm very much looking forward to. And the rest is a surprise. As much as the LPH doesn't know a lot about what she's going to expect about the Masters of the Universe, she knows a little, but she's far away from knowing everything. The rest will be a surprise for you. Well, that being said, let's get into that set. Well, and I know, although this is only a Mexican bootleg, David is a big lover of impact toys that are still in their original in packaging, and we will leave it like that. But magically we will also be able to have a close look at the figures without the reflecting plastic in the way. How we're gonna do that? Well, although it looks like a completely full closed and sealed package here, it's a cheap trick like everything in Mexican bootleg. So if we turn it around here, you can see that it is just a double-sided glue bag, if you want it like this, and you can easily open it without any dangers to get the figures out here, and we will do so. So let's have a look at this miracle of Mexican bootleg. Let's see what they have done with this Mexican bootleg. Well, the first figure that comes to my hand is the Mandalorian himself. Why? Let's put it a little bit by side. Maybe like this. Yeah, maybe like this. That's good. So we can see it, and I have enough space to present it to you. So it's the Mandalorian himself. 6-inch figures, no, a 7-inch figure that we have here. Unfortunately, it comes without any action functions. It is not movable. It has not any joints. There is nothing that you can move, but it is very much detailed and very lovably painted, right? It comes with a very good mold, so all the details really pop out, and he has a lot of that. So we can start with his laser gun, all the belt armor is there, fully there, the knee armor, the leg armor, everything is there, the breast chest armor is there. Everything is very nicely painted. On the back we have a very nicely molded cape, as well as we have the classical gun that he has there from the Sand People. So it's a really nice figure, and it comes in a fighting position, so it makes it ready for any action. Well, then we have a little blue guy, and as I only have seen the first part of Mandalorian, I don't know who he is. Maybe I missed him out, but I guess it's kind of a sidekick figure like Jaja or whatever it is. It seems to me like a space frog or anything like this, or maybe it's just a nice Mexican bootleg joke and they wanted to give you some ayahuasca in that way. I don't know about that. Maybe David knows, although I know he hasn't seen The Mandalorian so far as well. Or maybe you know, and you can tell me in the comments and let me know who is this little guy that the camera is even too lazy to put its focus on. Well, that was that guy. And there we have this two-part cradle. Obviously, oops, that was my feet kicking the table. There we go. And now you can't see the Mando. Why is that? We want to see the Mando. What is going, Mando? And why you're not standing on this side of the table? Are you crazy, buddy? Come on, you have been standing so good. Now he just wants to stand there. But he needs to stand here. There he is. No. There you can see him. There he is. Okay. Well, let's come back to the cradle. It's a two-part cradle. You have to join it here with simple plastic joints. Get them into the holes. They are rigid. They don't look very fragile, so you don't have to be that careful. The plastic is flexible, so if you need to move it slightly, there's absolutely no problem. And there we go. It fits perfectly in there, and the cradle is done. As you can see, the mold of the cradle is really nicely made. I like it a lot. It has a lot of details inside and outside on the back as well. And what I like the most is that it comes with this little stand here, so that we really will be able to position the figure in a nice way. Let's put the cradle right here. So here we go. Maybe a little bit in front of the Mando. There we go. And there let's get it out. What we have here, there are two baby Yoda figures, a smaller one and a bigger one, if you want to say it like this. Let's start with the bigger one. Here's the bigger one. Now it wants to focus. The camera likes baby Yoda. This figure and all the rest that we will see, they also come with a little action feature that I really like, because it shows how much the Mexican bootleg is not made for us collectors really, but it's made for Mexican children and it's ready to play. It's not only that we in one package have all the main characters here and a lot of accessories, so that we really can start to play. It leaves open space for fantasy, so all these figures are made as hand puppets, finger puppets. You just stick them over and you play them nicely. So I really love this idea. I really think this is a great idea, that they are giving the children the opportunity to play it out. And if we're thinking that there are 5 characters, 4 playable characters, 3 of them as finger puppets and 1 cradle included in just one bootleg package, we can really talk about a power pack, I think. Well, the figure itself is really nicely made. It is very, very, let's say, resistible. It will not break with any play. It's made of green plastic, as we have seen above. The rest is painted on it. It is really nicely made up to the eyes. The mold is a really nice mold. I think they took it from the original. At least it looks to me like that. How many times I want to throw you over my Mando. So there he stands. And there comes the little figure, as well, as I said, with the action function. It also is a finger puppet, and I really think this is a nice feature that we have here. I guess this is the one that is made for the cradle here. As you can see, same plastic, very rigid, nicely painted. Let's see if I'm right. Whoa. Oh god. Let's position him. Okay, I think Alright. He can hold himself with his little hands there in the cradle. So I'm playing billiards here all the time. That's not a really nice thing what I'm doing. It's the table is a little bit uneven as well, so you can stand here please. So there we go. So here is the one, the baby Yoda, and it stands perfectly. It suits perfectly even on the left and the right side. It grabs the cradle with its little arms. So it's a really nice little figure. Just for be curious, let's see if also the other Yoda is fixing into the cradle. And yes, he is. It gives a little bit different of a stand. He looks more like waving out, standing, maybe levitating some stuff. So this is a really nice action set, and where are a lot of heroes, there's also a villain. And here we have this. I cannot believe that they did this. Here we really have this typical example of Mexican bootleg, a baby Jabba. I don't even think that baby Jabba is existing in any series or Star Wars parallel universe so far, but it's a really nice idea. Not fully green, only half green so far, still growing, but I think really nicely made. And this, of course, as well, a finger puppet, can be adapted to your fingers or popped on a stick or anything like this, ready to play. I mean, come on. This is such a cool little figure, and this is so typical for the Mexican bootlegs. They take an original and they make a lot more out of it. They adapt the characters, or they create completely new characters, like I think this one is one of those. And yeah, well, even the Mando is falling over again about that little beauty. So that has been the rare Mexican bootleg Mandalorian Star Wars set that I wanted to have presented for you. And this time it will not go to my collection, but it will go into a museum. So this was not a spoiler. It was the pure truth. Yeah, this one is going to the Museum of Open by Chance, one of the best YouTube channels when it comes to collection that I know. I watch them frequently. I have a lot of fun and get a lot out of the live events that they frequently host as well on their channel. So if you don't know them, it's a hot recommendation. David has so much knowledge and so many genuine pieces to present and talk about, and LPH is just a wonderful collector's personality. You wouldn't regret to join them in their channel. With this and with saludos from Mexico, I say goodbye and I am out. Yours,
Monsters Maniac Mexico.